Hello, my dear friends. Hello. How have you all been? It is definitely a very good day, at least for the entire India. That's what I can say. We've landed on the moon, right? एक कहावत है. There is a very old saying in English that, at least aim for the moon so that you can land to the stars. But now I would like to rephrase it and say that you aim for the moon and you will land on the moon, right? So it's time that just like Chandrayaan, okay, the next 60 days, we prepare with a lot of focus and dhyan. Got it? Because for us, the moon is clearing the exams and becoming a chartered accountant. Yes, that's the case, my dear friends. ओके तो बस वही है दोस्तों और कुछ नहीं कुछ भी नहीं दैट्स ऑल आई कैन से एक्सट्रीमली इमोशनल मोमेंट that we are the fourth country to have done a soft landing on the moon and the first ever country to have landed on the south pole of the moon. So fantastic. Congratulations to the entire Chandrayaan team. ISRO. And I can't be more happier, guys. I can't be more happier about, the feat that we have achieved as a nation and as a group of scientists showed that in spite of lesser resources, we can reach the moon, right? That's it. No excuses. No excuses at all. The budget that is given to us, we will make sure that we do things within that limit. But we will do it and we will ensure that it happens, right? Just a minute. So, a very emotional moment, guys. Okay. And I can't be more happier, right? That we finally been through, okay, all of that and finally have reached a space which only few have been able to achieve. Okay. Akanksha, this is for CA final. This is not for Inter C. कृपया करके आप हमें मिलिए कल जब हम इंटर सीए का पढ़ेंगे when we will actually go and do inter CA का statutory amendments. Is that very clear? Okay. So, yes. Okay. Do we have Smith, Avni? Smith, Avni, are you there? Akila, are you there? Okay, guys. Okay. So let's do it, my dear friends. Okay, let's do it fatavat se. Today, my dear friends, we are supposed to do revision with respect to, okay, the registration. Let me just check, is the sound and all correct? Let me just check, guys. Registration. Let me just check, is the, okay, all of that and finally every, it's all good. It's all good, guys. It's all good. Mic check is done. We're done. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, it's very important. Okay. The time you actually land up listening to a lot of like background noise, please tell me. Please tell me because it just helps me make the quality of my video even better. Yeah. Fantastic. So, guys, when it comes to registration, the concept is very simple. The entire range of the section is from 22 to 30. Right. There are a few amendments here and there. We will cover it up as and when we go through. Okay. Now, the very first section, my dear friends, is 22 subsection 1. 22 subsection 1. Okay. Now, understand 22 subsection 1. Understand. Okay. Specifically states that in current financial year, if the aggregate turnover is exceeding 20 lakh, 10 lakh, or 40 lakh, 20 lakh, 10 lakh, or 40 lakh, then you are liable to register specifically where from where you are making taxable supplies, correct? Okay. So only in that state and union territory you are supposed to register. only in that state and union territory you are liable to register. Correct. Now, it's very important for you to understand, my dear friends, that while calculating aggregate turnover, okay, while calculating aggregate turnover, understand that we will be including all sorts of supplies. It will be taxable supply, it will be non-taxable supply, exempt, intrastate, interstate, everything possible on earth, right? But understand, we will register finally where? Only in that state where we are making only and only taxable supplies, only and only taxable supplies. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay. That's it. Next is, my dear friends, when it comes to 10 lakh rupees, understand that the way in which I help people memorize this entire, uh, you know, that which are the states covered here is MMT, Nagaland. Bolo MMT, Nagaland. Book the ticket of Nagaland through MMT. Now, the best part is all the four of them are northeastern states. All the four of them are northeastern states, right? But you will say, sir, then there is Meghalaya also. Yes, but that is what you need to remember. Okay. So the way you in which you can remember is my name is Tripura, Nagaland, Tripura, Nagaland. Are you getting it? Yes. So that's how you will remember it. Okay. Understand also the fact that okay, whatever uh, things we've discussed while calculating aggregate turnover, while we are doing composition scheme, is the exact same thing that you will also apply it for registration. You will also apply it for registration, but understand one thing, there you excluded interest and discount, here you will include interest and discount. There you excluded, here you will include it. Okay, fair enough. Now there are three specific things that I really need to talk about, okay, on the basis of which, my dear friends, okay, we will have a very elaborate discussion on 22 subsection 1, because if they are asking a question, they're definitely asking question from what we are discussing right now. Okay, now understand. For example, my dear friends, okay, A Limited has two branches. Okay, one branch is in Maharashtra, one is in Manipur, one is in Maharashtra, one is in Manipur. Now, the threshold limit of respective branch, okay, is 40 lakhs and 10 lakhs, considering they are both dealing into what? Taxable supply of goods. So Maharashtra, obviously it's 40 lakhs because it's exclusive supplier of goods. Manipur, obviously it is 10 lakhs because it is excluded from the 40 lakh limit, and you know that a 10 lakh limit is applicable to it. Now the question arises, which limit is applicable to it, right? Which limit is applicable to it, 40 lakhs or 10 lakhs? Because understand, okay, the threshold limit will be applicable to A Limited, and A Limited will have the same PAN across branches. Will have the same PAN across branches, right? Now, which is why you will only have one threshold limit, right? And which is why you also calculate aggregate turnover as one whole when you compare aggregate turnover with threshold limit. Now, what will be the threshold limit? Because understand, one branch is in that state where 40 lakh is applicable, and one is in 10 lakh. Very simple, my dear friends. Understand, if you are actually suffering from this situation, that which limit is applicable, then understand, mark my words. Okay, focus on the fact that are both the branches making taxable supplies? This is a very important condition. Are both the branches making taxable supply? If yes, then understand, my dear friends, so whichever is lower, and which is why 10 lakhs will be applicable. Okay, perfect. Next, my dear friends, okay, comes out to be X Limited. Just a second. Okay. Next, my dear friends. Okay. Pratiksha. Okay. Pratiksha, understand. Next is, my dear friends. Okay. Very simple. Next, my dear friends, is X Limited. X Limited has two branches, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Now, understand, Maharashtra and Gujarat both are states. Let's say if X Limited is only indulging into exclusive supplier of goods, the respective limit is 40 lakhs, 40 lakhs. So there is no confusion with respect to the threshold limit. It is 40 lakhs. Now, the trick in the game is very simple. In X Limited, we are only making taxable supplies in, that is in Maharashtra, but in X Limited Gujarat, we are only making non-taxable supplies like any five petroleum products or alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Okay, these are the only examples of non-taxable supplies. These are the only examples of non-taxable supplies. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. So that is definitely one thing, my dear friends. Okay. Correct. Now, In this case, understand, let's say for example, if their aggregate turnover happens to be 70 lakhs, okay, and the applicable threshold limit is 40 lakhs, are they liable to register? Yes. But the question is who? For example, in this case, okay, let's say the threshold, let's say for example, the aggregate turnover happens to be 30 lakhs, okay, then here they are liable to register in both Maharashtra and Manipur, right? But what about here? Correct. They are only liable to register in Maharashtra because you will register only in that state where you are making taxable supplies, right? So if you are making non-taxable supplies or exempt supplies, right? In that case, please understand you're not liable to register in that state. Is that very clear? Because why will you register? Why will you register? Are you ever going to collect GST? No. Are you ever going to pay GST? No. Then why the hell will you register in the first place? Yeah. You any logic? There is no logic. Got it, Pratiksha? Yes. Okay. Next, my dear friends. A Limited Manipur, A Limited Maharashtra. Now, understand one thing. Firstly, one state 40 lakh limit, one state 10 lakh limit, right? Now, in one state there is taxable supply, in another state there is non-taxable supply or exempt supply, whatever the case may be. Now, the thing is, my dear friends, which limit will be applicable? 40 lakhs or 10 lakhs? 40 lakhs or 10 lakhs? 40 lakhs or 10 lakhs? Tell me. 40 lakhs. Why, Pratiksha? Absolutely correct. Because here, in both this, understand, we are not supplying taxable supply of goods in both the states. We are not supplying taxable supply of goods in both the state. Did you get it, my dear friends? Right? So understand, if there is a state with lower threshold limit, and in that we are supplying non-taxable supplies, government says, firstly, you are having lower threshold limit. Also, you are supplying non-taxable goods which are outside the purview of GST. Why the hell will we ever give any respect to you? Why the hell will we give you any sort of importance? We will not. Okay. We will not reduce the threshold limit, okay, of that state where you are making supplies which are outside the purview of GST. Got it? Which is why here we will not do whichever is lower नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. Absolutely we won't do it, my dear friends. Okay, and which is why the only thing I want to tell you all, is that here the threshold limit will be 40 lakhs. Okay, here the threshold limit will be 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs. Okay, so here, my dear friends, the concept is very simple. Okay, तो बस वही है कि the applicable threshold limit here will be, ignore the lower threshold limit. Okay, whichever is lower, ये नहीं होगा, this will not happen. Okay, and you will rather take the applicable threshold limit, just write it down here, is 40 lakhs. So if applicable threshold limit is 40 lakhs, aggregate turnover is 50 lakhs, you are liable to register. Now, again, which question? Where? In Maharashtra or Manipur? Only and only in Maharashtra. Why? Because you are making taxable supplies only in Maharashtra. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct. Okay. Perfect. So I hope this funda is absolutely clear. Okay. Now, when it comes to, my dear friends, understanding that 40 lakhs is applicable in which case? 40 lakhs is applicable in which case? In this case, if a person is exclusively supplying goods, in this case, if the person is exclusively supplying goods, right, then understand in that case, okay, the applicable threshold limit is 40 lakhs in your case. But understand, there are 4 cases in which 40 lakhs will not apply. There are 4 cases in which 40 lakhs will not apply. Pehla wala, compulsory registration under section 24. Got it? Yes. Compulsory registration under section 24. So if you are already covered under 24, neither 10, neither 20, neither 40, nothing will be applicable to you. Voluntary registration, you yourself are deciding to get registered. Okay. Keeping aside all the threshold limit. Okay, definitely 40 lakhs not applicable. Achha, if you are a supplier of ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, ice cream, pan masala, tobacco. In this case, understand, fly ash bricks तो fossil meals, building bricks या फिर roofing tiles. If you are a supplier of all these things, again 40 lakhs is not applicable. Please understand the list is very similar to that of composition scheme, but understand in composition scheme you had aerated waters. Here you don't have aerated waters. Is that very clear? Yes, sir. And the last is, my dear friends, all northeastern state except Assam plus Uttarakhand, Telangana, Puducherry. Uttarakhand, Telangana, Puducherry. Okay, all northeastern states except Assam. All northeastern states except Assam. Are you getting it, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Are you getting it, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So that is clearly there, my dear friends. Okay. And which is why, okay, these are, okay, the specific things that you need to take into consideration. Also understand, my dear friends. Okay. Then, if you remember with respect to अपना कौन सा हाँ if you remember with respect to composition scheme, okay, if you remember with respect to composition scheme, understand, my dear friends, that there also, okay, when it came to 75 lakhs, they are all northeastern state except Assam plus Uttarakhand. Here, instead of Uttarakhand, here you have Uttarakhand, Telangana, and Puducherry. So understand, okay, the letters that I have actually, okay, highlighted is UTP. Okay. Okay. So basically, if we forget the password, what do we dial? OTP. Here we dial UTP. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. So that's it. So if you are either, okay, supplying goods in these kind of states, or you are supplying goods which are of these notified categories, understand in that case 40 lakhs is not applicable to you. Either 20 lakhs will be applicable or 10 lakhs, depending on whether, okay, in which state are you in. Is that very clear? Perfect. Okay. Next is 22 subsection 2, 22 subsection 3 and 4. 2, 3, 4. Or beta through 3, 4. Beta 2, 3, 4. Now understand. When it comes to 22 subsection 2, okay, what I mean is, my dear friends, very, very, very simple. What I mean is, my dear friends, very, very, very simple. Okay. That understand one thing. When I speak about 22 subsection 2, understand that if I was already registered as a trader, manufacturer, service provider under previous tax laws, like service tax, VAT, excise, then it was compulsory for me to get registered under GST law from the appointed date. That is from 22/6, 2017. Audit, I had no other chance. Like, it doesn't matter what my threshold limit is, what my applicable turnover is in that case. Doesn't matter. Government said you were registered under previous tax law, you will have to get registered under the GST law, period. Okay. Second, 22 subsection 3. Now there is, when there is transfer of business, let's say for example, okay, Jethalal is actually transferring his entire Gada Electronics ka business to Tapu, either by the way of succession or to Chroma, either by the way of going concern. Okay, either to Tappu or to Chroma, either to Tappu or to Chroma. Then in that case, Tappu or Chroma will be liable to register. Tappu or Chroma will be liable to register because understand, initially the pan was of Jethalal, now the pan will be of Chroma or Tappu, right? Correct. So obviously the PAN changes, the GSTN also changes because it is an integral part of GST number. Now, when are they liable to register? Very simple. From the date of transfer of business. From the date of transfer of business. Correct? Yes. And the last is, my dear friends, 22 subsection 4, where there is A limited, B limited amalgamated into AB limited. A limited, B limited amalgamated into AB limited. Now, AB limited is liable to register with effect from the date when ROC issues CUI, Certificate of Incorporation. Certificate of Incorporation. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Now, that, my dear friends, sums up our entire section 22. That, my dear friends, sums up our entire section 22, 22 1, 22 2, 22 3, 22 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope you all guys got it. Hope you all guys got it. Show me a thumbs up. Show me a thumbs up, guys, if you all got it. Come on, guys. Come on. Alright, come on, guys. Okay. Okay. Now that we are basically covering, my dear friend, section 24, compulsory registration. In that case, please understand, okay, please understand, my dear friends, that when I'm talking about compulsory registration, that means you don't have to see the threshold limit, boss. Okay, you have to directly register. You are liable to register. Okay, and once you are liable to register, you need to register within 30 days. You need to register within 30 days, right? So the first is, my dear friends, interstate supply. Now, interstate supply, my dear friends, understand there is interstate supply of goods, there is interstate supply of service. So right now, I only talk about interstate supply of goods. Understand, if I am in Mumbai, you are in Chennai, and I supply goods from Mumbai to Chennai, then understand it is very, very, very important to know that I'm liable to register, even though my turnover is just 1 lakh rupees. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Are you getting it? Yes, absolutely correct, my dear friends. Okay, so yeah, in case interstate supply of taxable goods, I will have to register, period. Second, but understand there is a small exception, especially for people who are actually trading into handicraft goods, because handicraft goods are generally made in villages and sold in cities. Made in villages, sold in cities. So in that case, obviously, my dear friend, the government has given an exemption to handicraft goods and craftsmen. So if you are a handicraft supplier, right, or if you are a craftsman who's supplying interstate supply of goods, who's making interstate supply of goods, in that case you're not immediately liable to register. You're not immediately liable to register. Government says hamba. The government says hamba. Stop. I am giving you exemption up to 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Yes. Understand, 40 lakhs will not be applicable, 20 lakhs will be applicable because it is interstate, not intra. Intra. So even if you are exclusive supplier of interstate goods, handicraft goods, 40 lakh, 20 lakh only applicable. Got it? Yes. 20 lakh will be applicable, and then you will become compulsorily liable to register after 20 lakhs. Are you getting it, my dear friends? Yes. Now, ensure in this case, especially with respect to my dear friends, craftsmen, okay, it's very important that you understand that the word is taken care of, and that word is predominantly, right? Now, the word predominantly means that majority of the work has to be done by hand. By hand. Are you getting it? Yes. So, for example, okay, only if that is possible, then you will get the exemption, otherwise not. Okay, so 30% by hand, 70% by machinery. Okay, understand that here this person has invested a lot of capital in machines. So in that case, he has capital, he can do compliances. Though he is selling the handicraft good, he can do compliances because he has capital to buy machinery, he has capital to buy to basically do all the compliances. Then in that case, my dear friends, exemption won't be applicable to him. He will be really required to register. Second, my dear friends, 50-50. Again, my dear friends, doesn't matter, it is not equal, it is predominant. It is predominant. Then in that case, my dear friends, compulsory registration again required. And third is 70-30 exemption. Okay, done up to 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Is that very clear, my dear friends? Okay, yes, okay. Only in the last case, my dear friends, will he be required to register. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Next is, my dear friends, very, very simple. Okay. With respect to conditions, understand. Okay. With respect to conditions, you can have PAN and you can generate e-way bill. You can have PAN and you can generate e-way bill. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Okay. So it's very important that these handicraft suppliers, okay, it's very important that these handicraft supplier of goods, it's very important that these handicraft supplier of goods, okay, if they want the exemption, they should have a PAN and they should, okay, generate e-way bill. They should have a PAN and they should generate e-way bill. Okay, and when will they generate e-way bill? At the time of movement of goods. Correct? Perfect. Perfect, my dear friends. Next is very simple. Okay, I will just interrupt, guys. Okay, Just like interstate supply, if you are supplying goods through ECO, where the ECO is liable to deduct TCS, okay, then in that case also understand, my dear friends, okay, I will not hesitate in saying that the supplier of goods is again compulsorily required to register. Compulsorily required to register. So, for example, if Jethalal decides to supply through Amazon, right, even though his turnover is 10 lakhs, he is liable to register. Compulsorily liable to register. Did you get it, my dear friends? Yes. So just what is the treatment given in the interstate supply for goods is the same treatment given to person supplying goods through ECO. Same for goods, same for service, same for goods, same for service. If you are doing interstate supply of service, exemption up to 20 lakh 20 lakh, you are not supposed to be covered under compulsory registration. No, 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 no. You are understand outside section 24. Here also you are outside section 24. Are you getting it, my dear friends? Are you getting it, my dear friends? Which is why I have written it all together here. What is the position in interstate supply is the exact position, my dear friends, with respect to, right? Person supplying goods through ECO where TCS is deducted under section 51 नहीं 52 कर देना है. Okay, yes, my dear friends. Okay, I will able to get it. I will able to gauge it. I will able to gauge it, my dear friends. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. Yes, you are. You are. I know you are. Okay. Next is, my dear friends, ECO. Okay. When I am talking about ECO, we are talking about that ECO who is supposed to be collecting TCS under section 52. So only that ECO who is required to collect TCS under section 52 are required to compulsorily register. Game beta, game. Why? Because better simple reason. He will collect TCS. He will pay TCS. He will collect TCS. He will pay TCS. Right? That's the only reason. Okay? That's the only reason. Acha. But someone like OLX, understand that that is an issue where TCS, there's no question of deducting TCS. There is no question of deducting TCS. Why? Because understand, how is TCS deducted? For example, I am Jethalal, you are the buyer, and you are buying something from Amazon. Got it? Right? So I will supply you goods to you through Amazon. Correct? Let's say, for example, 1 lakh rupees. You will pay to Amazon. Amazon will now cut, okay, 1% TCS and give me 99,000 plus GST. And I will deposit my GST. Okay. And as soon as Amazon deducts that TCS, it deposits it, okay, to the 10th of the next month. And as soon as he deposits it, it is reflected in my e-cash ledger. Now understand, such thing can never happen in OLX. Why? Because in OLX, the ECO never comes in between. The transaction is now routed through OLX. Buyer and seller will exchange numbers. Buyer will purchase goods from the seller and hand over the consideration to him. So there is no opportunity for the ECO to deduct TCS because the consideration is not routed through TCS. Gotcha. Okay. Which is why Flipkart ECO required to deduct TCS under 52, which is why compulsory registration. OLX is an ECO which is not required to collect TCS under section 52, and hence compulsory registration is not required. Is that very correct? Yes. Okay. Next, my dear friends, is CTP. CTP is casual taxable person. Okay. It's casual taxable person. Okay. Even they are liable to register, my dear friends, and so is NRTP. Okay. The reason of that will be explained in section 27, which is the very next section that we will be doing very soon. Next, person liable to pay tax under 9395. 9395. We've already spoken in 93. That understand. There are 3 charges. Okay, 3% in entire GST are given the responsibility to pay tax. Majority cases, supplier, 9 subsection 1. Few cases, 93 recipient. And even fewer cases, 95 ECO. 9 supplier, 93 recipient, 95 ECO. 95 ECO. To understand in that case. Okay. Person liable to pay tax under 93 recipient, when he's supposed to pay tax, he will come. Okay, under 9.5, ECO is liable to pay tax. Okay, so I don't want you to ever confuse between this ECO and the ECO covered under 9.5, right? Here, they just deduct 1% of the transaction and deposit TCS. Here, they are paying the entire 18% GST to government. Got it? So, for example, if I'm talking about MMT, Make My Trip, which is an ECO required to register under 24 and required to pay tax under 9.5, in that case, understand, I'm the hotel, there is MMT, and you are the tourist. You are booking a room, 10,000 rupees. Now, 10,000 rupees plus GST 18%, correct? Yes. Now, this bill will be raised to you by the EC only. So you will give 11,800 to MMT. MMT will keep with itself 1,800 because it is required to deposit the GST on the entire supply to government and remit 10,000 to hotel. Very simple. Am I deducting TCS here? No. No. Because the entire tax is supposed to be paid here by whom? By the hotel. Is that very clear? So in that cases, MMT will be registered under 9.5, and which is why it is required to compulsory register under section 24. Remember this very well. Okay, correct. Next is, my dear friends, very simple. Agent who makes taxable supplies on behalf of his taxable principal. So for example, Smith is the agent, I am the principal, and I tell Smith that you have to supply these garments which are taxable garments, okay, on behalf of me to, let's say, for example, Avni. Then in that case, understand, my dear friends, I am a taxable principal and the goods supplied by Smith is also taxable. Then in that case, the agent has to specifically get registered compulsorily, and this is generally in the case of deemed supply, where he has the authority to transfer the title, where he also issues invoice in his own name. So in that case, principal will charge GST to what? The agent, and the agent will charge GST to buyer. This way, principal can get ITC because he has charged GST to agent, and agent get ITC because he is charging GST to the buyer. Okay, perfect. Next is, just like TCS deductor, there is TDS deductor. There it was 52, here it is 51. They are specifically required to deduct TDS, and that is why when they will deduct TCS and pay TDS, they will have to register as they'll have to compulsory register under section 24. Okay, done. Okay, perfect. Okay, next is, my dear friends. Okay, understand one thing, guys. Okay, understand one thing. Then let's say if you are a supplier. Okay, and what kind of supplier are you? You are an OIDAR supplier. Okay, so you are an OIDAR supplier called Netflix, who is supplying OIDAR services to unregistered person in India, to these, Gen Z people in India, who are obviously unregistered, berojgar people, unemployed people, my dear friends. Right? And the example of OIDAR services: online gaming, online music, online movies, cloud computing services, advertisement services. Then in that case, government said that though this unregistered person in India, but we cannot collect GST from him. We cannot say that yahan pe we will, trigger RCM. No, you cannot ask these Gen Z people to pay tax and then, bloody, okay, log into Netflix. No, 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 no. You can't. Which is why government said it's much important that we ask Netflix only, which though is outside India, we specifically ask them to compulsorily register in India. Compulsorily register in India. Okay, because if they won't, then we are just one call away. Where are they listed? Play Store. Play Store kiska? Beta Google. And Google CEO Sundar Pichai, India, PM Modi, hotline, Pichai. Do one thing. Netflix is not getting registered. Get him out. Get him out. Okay. And Netflix will lose 100 crores of business, right? Obviously, Netflix will not do that. And Netflix was asked to register compulsorily in India. Okay, because we cannot collect tax from the recipient. Correct? Perfect. So that sums up to section 24. Guys, did you all get it? Guys, did you all get it, guys? Are you all with me, guys? Say yes, sir. Say yes, sir. Show me your hands up. Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Next is my dear friends, section 23. Okay, next is my dear friends, section 23. Okay. Now, when I speak about section 23, my dear friends, very simple. We are talking about those people who are exempted from registration. So now, my dear friends, they are basically divided into two categories. One is agriculturist. Now, this agriculturist has to be an individual HUF, who is cultivating agriculture produce from agricultural land. So, for example, Heath Kubadia decides to quit CA and do farming and start his farming. And once he's done with the farming, he is now farming what? Onions and potatoes. Okay. And as soon as he's done with the harvesting, the only thing he says, Alu, tomato, Kanda, tomato. Okay. In English, onion, egg, potato, egg. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay. So that is how it is, my dear friends. That's the literal translation of English that I could have possibly done. Okay. And yeah, that's how it is. So if he ends up doing that, then definitely, okay, whatever he's supplying is basically not subject to GST and he will never be liable to register. Okay. So if any agriculturist who's either an individual or an HUF and cultivating agriculture produce from agriculture land with the help of labor. Now the labor can be either on their wages, either through labor contractor he has hired someone, or it can be his own family members. But he should be the one who's supervising everything. Then in that case, understand he is exempted from registration. Government has said you do kheti badi, you do harvesting, you focus on agriculture, rest I will all handle. No supposed to pay GST. You chill. Don't do just chill. Okay, correct. Next is my dear friends, person who's expert. Understand, my dear friends. My question is, let's say for example tomorrow Reliance Limited starts a company called Reliance Agro Farm Limited and they start cultivating. Will they get the same exemption under Section 23? Absolutely nothing. Because it is not an individual, neither an HUF. It is a company. It is a company. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay. Next, my dear friends, the people who are notified under Section 23 as the people who are exempted from registration, my dear friends, is one and the only person who's exclusively either supplying exempted goods or service or non-taxable goods or service. Exclusively supplying exempted goods or service or non-taxable supply of goods or service. Exempted goods or services are basically goods or services which are exempted. Like for example, providing healthcare service, agriculture service, education service, right? All of these services are all exempted. In this case, you will neither collect tax, you will neither pay tax. You will neither collect tax, you will not pay tax. Are you getting it? Yes. The second thing is, my dear friends, okay, all those people who are not liable to tax, all those people who are not liable to tax, that means who are supplying non-taxable goods, like my dear friends, 5 petroleum products and alcoholic liquor for human consumption. 5 petroleum products and alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Which are the 5 petroleum products? Crude oil, petrol, high-speed diesel, natural gas, ATF, aviation turbine fuel. Okay. So in this case also, you will charge VAT. You will not charge GST. Yeah. So will you ever collect GST? No. Will you ever pay GST? No. Can that make you register? No. 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 Okay. No. So no. Whatever. Yeah. What did you will not register? Yeah. Third case, forward supply by tax is payable as per RCM. In this case, understand the person is only supplying that kind of a service. The person is only supplying that kind of a service where he not the opposite person. The recipient will be liable to pay tax. Well, yes. Well, yes. For example, insurance agent. Who will pay tax? Who will pay tax? Always the insurance company. Let's say a recovery agent who's always working with bank or NBFC. Who will pay tax? Bank or NBFC? Let's say an individual DSA, okay, working with a bank, who will always pay tax? The DCA, the DSA. Sorry, the bank. I'm so sorry. It's always the recipient who will pay the tax. So if you are indulged only in such kind of service where the opposite person is going to pay tax, again, are you going to collect tax? No. Are you going to pay tax? No. Then why the hell will you register? Manjeera bajaoge kya? Will you play Manjeera by getting registered? No better. There is no objective categorically that you are achieving by getting registered. Then why will you register? So government has specifically created section 23 where you are exempted from registration. You are not allowed to register it. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. In this case, understand then who is liable to register? It's the insurance company. And that too, compulsory registration under section 24. Why? Because this person is liable to pay tax. Okay. Under section 93. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's the. Okay. Now, my dear friends, we focus on section 27. Okay. Now, what is section 27, my dear friends? NRTP CTP or NRTP CTP or NRTP CTP. Right? In case of NRTP and CTP, understand my difference. We talk about non-resident taxable person, casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person, casual taxable person. In this case, understand one thing, my dear friends. In this case, understand, my dear friends, right? Who is NRTP? Person who is coming from outside India to in India to do business. And who is CTP? Person who is going from one state to another state of India where he does not have a fixed place of business. So, for example, Justin Bieber coming to Mumbai. Okay, keeping a concert. Baby, 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 hey, baby, 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 hey. Yeah. Okay, correct. Doing lip singing, singing in chaddi, shorts. Okay, and making 100 crores and living in India. Maharashtra government watching, tali bajavi, clapping, applauding. No, beta, no, no. Government said something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Yeah, yeah, wait. And which is why they created the concept of NRTP, where a person who's coming all the way from outside India to in India has to get registered in that state where he's supplying goods or service. Compulsory. Compulsory. Alright, so first you do compulsory registration. When within 5 days from the date of commencement of business. Within 5 days from the date of commencement of business. Now, till what time will the registration be valid? Okay, I would rather say the registration shall be valid for maximum 90 days. So you can rather say, okay, the period for which you have applied, period of application, or 90 days, whichever is earlier. Okay, correct. Now the extension time is how much? Can you extend it? Yes, one time for maximum 90 days. Okay, and the second is my difference. Pay advance tax again for extended period. So now that you are extending it, you have to pay advance tax for that extended period also, because understand you wouldn't have paid for that initially, right? And can you get another extension? No. Then after 180 days, you are supposed to simple, right? If you have asked for one extension, irrespective of whatever period it is. For example, I thought I will take 10 days, but the exhibition got extended. So now I am extending one more 10 days. Then in that case, though it is 20 days, but I've asked for one extension, then now I cannot go for another extension. I have to take registration as normal taxpayer instead of casual taxable person. Right? Correct. Also understand that here generally what happens is people first supply goods or service, then pay tax. Here first they will have to pay tax, and that too advance tax, and then only they can start supplying goods or service. And the advance tax will be paid on net estimated liability. Net estimated liability is nothing but the estimated output tax minus estimated ITC that they will avail. Got it? Yes. Also remember, when it comes to CTP and RTP, they cannot pay tax under compo scheme. They cannot pay tax under compo scheme. Obviously, yeah, if they are coming just once in a while, we will not just ask them to pay 1% and then leave and get lost. No, absolutely not. We will ask them to pay the entire 18%, 12%, whatever is applicable to them. Also understand that NRTP will never get ITC of anything except one, that is the IGST that it has paid on import of goods. Correct. Okay. So that is, my dear friends, section 23, 27, and 24. Are you all getting it, guys? Are you all getting it, guys? Tell me, getting it, guys? Are you all getting it, guys? Okay. Okay. Let's do one thing. Okay. It's 8:15 now. Okay. Let's get back at 8:30. फटाफट से, because we've covered sizable amount of portion, right? And I guess from 8:30 to 9:30 we will easily be able to cover the rest of the portion. Okay, done है. ठीक है. So let's come at 8:30. Okay, and wrap it up. Okay, friends, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Come on. Okay. Now we are supposed to do, my dear friends, procedure for registration. Absolutely correct. Okay. So, dosto, when it comes to procedure for registration, understand we are talking about two important things. One is part one, one is part two. Part one, part two, part one, part two. Okay. So, when we speak about part one, my dear friends, what are we talking about? Tell me. So, as soon as you become liable to register under 22 or 24, it's very important to understand, my dear friends, that you register within 30 days. So if you register within 30 days, your effective date of registration will be the date of becoming liable to register. Okay. Now that you've registered, very simple, my dear friends, you have to declare, okay, understand your PAN number, mobile number, okay, your state, your union territory in part A of form GST REG 01, right? And as soon as you fill this, okay, very simple, okay, post verification, obviously, where the verification is basically how is it verified? Your PAN is validated online from the CBDT database, and also your phone number is validated through OTPs, correct? You basically will get a TRN, temporary registration number, which will be sent in your email and mobile number, right? Using that TRN, okay, you will now fill in part B details in form GST REG 01, where you will fill details like constitution of your business, jurisdiction, what is the option you want to go. You want to go what of you want to go ahead with normal scheme or composition scheme, right? Date of commencement, address of principal place of business, yeah, additional place of business, right? All of that is filled. Now the application is ready and it will go to proper officer. Okay, understand. Understand one angle to this, that apart from this, you also have to authenticate your Aadhaar. So you will have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. So if you opt for Aadhaar authentication, if you opt for Aadhaar authentication, if you opt for Aadhaar authentication and you finally also land up authenticating it, right? There is a certain way in which the flow of transactions will happen, and if you don't authenticate it, then there is a certain way in which the flow of procedure happen, right? So for example, for all those who have authenticated their Aadhaar, the date of submission of application will be date of Aadhaar authentication. But in case you don't submit your Aadhaar authentication, okay, if you don't opt for Aadhaar authentication, then in that case, understand, in that case, okay, it'll be 15 days from the date of submission of part B, okay, which will be considered as the date of submission of application dosa. Okay, now understand my difference. One is specifically with respect to, okay, part two. Now the part two is basically that, understand, you have done everything that you could have done with respect to filling the application, right? Now the application is in the hands of proper officer. Okay, now the application is in the hands of proper officer. Understand? Case one, case two. Case one, as so, for example, in case one, if you have opted for Aadhaar and the proper officer is satisfied that everything that has happened is proper, then in within 7 days you will be granted your RC. Correct? Yes. So understand, now the application is in the hands of proper officer, and if you have opted for Aadhaar authentication, there are two cases. Within 7 days, either your application will be accepted or rejected. Nahi. Okay, in case it is incorrect, there are any incorrect particulars or incomplete particulars, they will give you notice. So either accept or either notice, either accept or either notice. Okay, accept kiya, very good, the matter ends. If you send the notice, very good. Okay, the matter will go on forward from there. But if you don't do anything, then government says it will be deemed approved. Okay. Okay. Now, for example, let's say if it is rejected, okay, if sorry, if it's not rejected, you have been given an opportunity of being heard and a notice is issued. Now, if the notice is issued, obviously it is at the end of applicant who needs to reply. So he will reply within 7 days. Okay. And as soon as he replies within 7 working days, okay, from the date of receipt of such notice, okay, now again the ball is in the court of proper officer, because now the proper officer has to read the reply and answer that whether, okay, whatever deficiencies were pointed out, are they are rectified or not. If they are rectified, then the application will be accepted. If it is not rectified, right, and government feels there is still some deficiency and he does not deserve a registration, then it will be rejected. Okay, so understand. Okay, as soon as the application goes within 7 days, या तो accept या तो issue show cause notice. Nothing happens, deemed approval. Okay, if yes, then good. If no, then do one thing, send the notice. If you send the notice, then within 7 days, then within 7 days, okay, reply. And once the reply is done, from, okay, from that, okay, okay, from the date of receipt of reply, within 7 days, yes or no, accept or reject, end of discussion. Okay, correct. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. And again, if there is no yes or no, then again there will be deemed approval. Now, next is case number two, where applicant, okay, fails to undergo Aadhar authentication, where applicant fails to undergo Aadhar authentication or does not opt for it, or the proper officer deems it fit to carry out physical verification of place of business, or person has undergone Aadhar authentication, but the data analysis, the risk parameters, okay, warrant site verification. Correct. So either you have not undergone Aadhar authentication because you have not opted for it. Okay, but you had opted for it, but you have failed. So that means you opted for Aadhar authentication, but somehow, let's say your Aadhar was not linked with your phone number. In that case, you were not able to authenticate. So you failed. So you tried and then you failed. That is one case where you say that you failed to undergo Aadhar authentication. Second is, okay, you do not opt for it. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by you do not opt for it? Very simple. Very, very, very simple. Okay. It only means, my dear friends, that you did not opt for Aadhar authentication. There was an option, but you did not trigger that option, right? And the last two cases, okay, are very simple. Proper officer deems it necessary to carry out physical verification, and the other is person has undergone Aadhar authentication, but the data suggests that it's important to have a site verification. If any of those four issues arises, then in that case, okay, the officer is satisfied, and okay, then the officer goes ahead, okay, and does all of this. He does site verification, he does all that kind of verification. Now what? If he's satisfied, he will grant within 30 working days. If not, then he will issue notice. If he does nothing, deemed approval. Right? Now, understand. He will issue notice within 30 days. Now, who's supposed to reply? The applicant. He will reply within 7 working days. As soon as he gets the reply, proper officer gets the reply. Very simple. Either the answer is yes or no. Either he will accept or reject. Okay. Within 7 working days. Within 7 working days. Okay. Done, 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 done. Done, 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 done. Array, done, 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 done. Okay. That's it, my dear friends. Okay. Next is very, very, very simple. Next is Aadhar authentication. Okay, we are talking about something called as Aadhar authentication, where understand, if you are an individual, your Aadhar will be yours. But if you are running a proprietorship firm, it will be sole proprietor's Aadhar. Partner, partnership. In case of partnership from partners Aadhar, HUF Karta Aadhar, company MDWTD. In case of AOP, members of managing committee. In case of trust, trustees Aadhar. Right? Correct. Because Aadhar actually is issued for the citizen, not for this artificial juridical person. Got it? Yes, sir. Okay. Next is, if Aadhar is not assigned to existing person, such person shall furnish following identification documents. Which are those documents? Aadhar enrollment ID slip and passport, bank passbook with photo, voter ID or driving license. Okay. So simple. If he does not have Aadhar, then what will he do? He will show that at least I have applied for Aadhar. Okay. Along with that, he will also give passport, a bank passbook, a voter ID, a driving license, either of the one evidence. Right. Once the Aadhar is received, he shall have to undergo Aadhar authentication within 30 days. So this is a temporary arrangement, right? But the permanent arrangement is that as soon as Aadhar comes, within 30 days, he'll have to apply for authentication. Who are the people exempted from Aadhar? One who is not the citizen, obviously. Okay. Department or establishment of CG or SG, local authority, statutory body, public sector units, and people who are covered as UIN under section 25 subsection 9, which we will soon come across. Okay. How does having an Aadhar authentication being done help? Three ways. For filing of application for revocation of cancellation of RC, so you can revoke the application once your RC is cancelled. Second, you can apply for, understand, you can apply for a refund application, okay, in RED नहीं RFD है, RFD 01 form, or okay, the refund of IGST paid on goods export out of India. Is that very clear? Yes, sir. ठीक है. So you can apply for refund or you can apply for revocation. Absolutely correct, my dear friends. Absolutely correct, my dear friends. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. So that is one thing that definitely, will be asked. So that is one thing that I would like to say with respect to Aadhaar authentication. Okay. Now, which are the other points which are covered under section 25 that need to be taken into consideration? That need to be taken into consideration, right? Let's check. One is separate registration of units having same PAN. Okay. Separate registration of units having the same PAN. It's necessary that units in different states are registered differently, right? Understand? So if there is a branch in Maharashtra, a branch in Gujarat, I have to take registration in both the states. So if my branch is in different states, I have to take separate registration in both the states. But if it is in one state, then I have an option. Either I can go for single registration or either I can go for registering both the branches or all the branches. Acha, in case if you are going for single registration, then make sure that one you declare it as principal place of business and other you declare it as additional place of business, right? So I will just ask you all to mention this here itself, right? Just right here. If branches having same PAN are in same states, okay, in that case, understand, okay, either you can take registration, register all the branches, not an issue, or else take single registration where you will have to declare two things. Declare one branch as the principal place of business and declare other branches as additional place of business. Okay, please jot this down. Okay, please jot it down. Okay, perfect. Then understand, okay, in the same state, understand if there is one area is SEZ and the other area is non SEZ, then also in that case, separate registration is compulsorily required, right? Okay, if one is in SEZ and if another is in non SEZ, in that also separate registration is required, right? Perfect. Acha. In 25 subsection 3, understand that a person, if he is not even liable to register under 22 or 24, he can still go ahead and register. He can still go ahead and register under voluntary registration scheme that is available under 25 subsection 3. Are you able to hear me? Smith, are you there? MS, are you there? Heath, are you there? Agni, are you there? Pratiksha, are you there? Okay. Next. Next is my dear friends, distinct person. Okay. So understand. If I'm talking about distinct person, my dear friends, what I'm trying to do is very, very, very simple. Okay. If I'm talking about distinct person, my dear friends, in that case, in that case, in that case, in that case, okay, you've already understood this. One is 25.4 and one is 25.5. One is 25.4 and one is 25.5. In this case, understand, my dear friends, the concept is very, very, very simple. In this, okay, the concept is very, very, very simple. And that is, my dear friends, that if, for example, okay, especially in 25.4, if you have branches in the same state or different state, right? Same state or different state, then in that case, my dear friends, it is pertinent to note that it will be considered as distinct person. But also in a case where, my dear friends, it is in different state, but one is registered and one is unregistered. One is registered and one is unregistered. There also you have the status of being a distinct person. Okay? Done. Next, my dear friends, I'm talking about person deducting TDS. It's very important to understand that if a person is registering just because he is a TDS deductor, then he will register using TAN, tax collection and tax collection and deduction account number. And for other taxpayers, PAN is enough. Okay, correct. Acha, understand the requirement of PAN. Okay, is not applicable to NRTP. Why? Because understand, when it comes to NRTP, okay, he's required to have a self-assured passport in case he is an individual, right? Correct. And in case he is a business entity, then tax identification number will do. So instead of PAN, this will be used, right? Correct. Next is 25 subsection 8. So due to any survey, inquiry, inspection or search, it finally comes to the notice of proper officer that you are liable to pay tax, but you fail to pay tax. You are liable to pay tax, but you fail to pay tax. Then in that case, government will issue a temporary registration number, and using that you can log in the GST portal and you can pay the tax, right? Because if you accept this, you will have to pay the tax. And very simple. As soon as you are getting the TRN, okay, understand, if you accept that you are supposed to pay, which you failed to pay, then you also have to take fresh registration by furnishing all the details as in Part A and Part B, okay, within 90 days from the receipt of TRN, right? Next, in case you dispute that, so that means department says that you failed to pay tax, but you were supposed to pay tax. You failed to pay tax, but you were supposed to pay tax. In that case, my dear friends, you can do an appeal. So, appellate authority, okay, you can basically go to an appellate authority and appeal for this. And in case appellate authority agrees with you, it will set aside the order. And if it agrees with the proper officer, then in that case, you are now liable to register within 30 days from the date of such order. Okay? Perfect. Okay. Next, my dear friends, is what is 25 subsection 9? So when I talk about 25 subsection 9, the concept is very, very, very simple. The concept is very, very, very simple. It says any specialized agency of UNO or any multilateral financial institution or any foreign embassy or consulate, they require UIN, unique identification number. Unique identification number. Okay. Now, understand why do they need this number? Because understand, okay, we will also understand in exemptions, my dear friends, especially with respect to FDM, that if you are giving any service, then it is exempt. But understand that also, okay, is a very big disadvantage because foreign diplomatic mission is nothing but foreign embassies like US embassy, Canadian embassy, right, Russian embassy, whatever. So if they have paid any input tax on inward supplies, right? They will clearly not get the ITC because their outward supply is exempted. So they cannot charge GST to someone. How will they recover any ITC, right? So now that becomes part of your cost. Now that becomes part of your cost. But understand that contravenes the entire purpose, okay, that we all WTO nations have agreed that, okay, we will not charge GST to your ambassadors, you will not charge the local taxes to our ambassadors, right? Then in that case, what happens is your input tax is still absorbed by the foreign diplomatic mission. It's still a part of cost. So there might not be output tax, but there is definitely is input tax, which is borne by the FDM, that is the foreign embassy. And that should not happen, which is why government said that to remove this cost, okay, we will make sure that the input tax you have paid, you get the refund of this input tax. Yes. Okay, you can actually apply for refund for these input taxes. Don't you worry. And you will obviously claim that by logging into the GST portal. But understand, you will not have a GSTN number. No, 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 no. You will have a UIN. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. Is that very clear, my dear friends? Yes, sir. That's it. Okay, done. Okay, now understand. Okay, the second last part that my difference that I'm talking about is Section 28 Amendment in Registration. Section 28 Amendment in Registration. Now understand there are two types of amendments: core amendment, non-core, non-core. Core are extremely important, which is why whenever you are doing any core amendment, you need permission of proper officer. You need permission of proper officer, right? Now, which are examples of core field? Legal name of business. So, for example, your PAN card had, let's say, Big Bazaar as the name. So, legal name was Big Bazaar, and that is what your PAN card had, right? But now it is Small Bazaar, right? So understand the PAN card number will be the same, but the name has changed. So your PAN card number is still the same, but the name has changed. But still, it is a big, big, big change. Because understand, tomorrow government wants to send a demand notice to Big Bazaar. And you say, who is Big Bazaar? Who is Big Bazaar? Huh? Who is Big Bazaar? This is the Small Bazaar. This is not Big Bazaar. Sorry, wrong number. Okay. So something like that can happen, and which is why it's very important that in your RC you amend your RC whenever you change your legal name. Second, address or principal place of business and additional place of business. So, in case if you, let's say, were functioning from Mumbai, you're functioning from Mumbai, but now you're functioning from Pune. Now, who will tell that to the proper officer? So, tomorrow, if there is any raid to be conducted, they will go to your Mumbai office. But you are bloody conducting a business from the Pune office. What the hell? What's this? Not happening. And which is why, my dear friends, government said you will have to amend this. Third, if there is any addition, deletion, retirement of any kartas, board of directors, partners, you will have to inform because there is a specific set of liability that comes to their kitty in case you inform them at time or you don't inform them at time, right? There is a consequence for that. So if you don't want to face that consequence, inform. Second, non-good fit phone number, email ID, things can be easily validated by the way of OTP. Proper officer intervention is absolutely not required. Third, very, very important thing, no change in section 28 will result in change in PAN. If there is change in PAN, that will not be covered under section 28. That will be covered under section 29. Because change in PAN will lead to change in GST line. In that case, someone will have to cancel his RC and someone will have to apply for fresh RC. Cancel, fresh. So understand that. Okay. Also, what is the procedure here? Very, very, very simple. The procedure here out, okay, is like something very similar to this, right? So, for example, if there is any change in any of the core field, right? Because only for that you need proper officer's permission, right? So, within 15 days of such change, make an application along with the documents. Now, the application is submitted to proper officer. He will verify it within 15 working days. Right? If it is good, it is good, approved, done, sorted. But if it is not good, okay, in that case, very simple, they will issue a notice, and they will issue notice within 7 working days. So within 7 working days, understand, okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So within 15 working days, they will either say yes or they will either say no, nay. They will either issue notice, of which you will reply within 7 working days. And once they get the reply, they will verify that reply, they will check that reply within again another 7 working days. Okay, and finally approve or reject whatever the case may be. If they don't end up doing that, it will be deemed approved. Very simple. So 15 days, 7 days, 7 days. Okay. और ऊपर अपना 7 days, 7 days in case of Aadhar authentication and 30 days, 7 days in case of other than Aadhar authentication. ठीक है? Okay. Okay. Now we are finally reached to section 29. Cancellation of RC. Cancellation of RC. Cancellation of RC. 29.1, 29.2, 29.1, 29.2. Did you get it? Yes, I got it. Okay. Are you there, guys, with me? Avni, are you there? Show me hands up. Smith, MS, Heath, Avni, MS, Smith, Heath, Smith, Zaveri, Bhanushali, MS. Are you all there with me? Okay, friends. Now we have section 29, the final section, my dear friends, to be taken into consideration, my dear friends. Fatavat. Section 29, my dear friends, there are two things. One is 29.1, 29.2, 29.1, 29.2. 29.1, we talk about registration, which is cancelled by registered person himself. Which are the cases? Very simple. Either I have closed down my business, either I have died, so my legal representative has cancelled, either I have fully transferred the business by the way of merger, amalgamation, or transfer, either I have changed the constitution. So initially it was a partnership form, now it is LLP, then afterward it is a private limited. So again the entire PAN will change. So if the PAN will change, GST and will change. Very simple. So someone will have to cancel and someone will have to take fresh registration. Then I'm no more liable to register under 2224. That means I was supplying taxable goods. Now government has notified my goods as exempt. Now from now onwards, I will be forever supplying exempted goods. Then I'm no more liable to register under 2224. I will opt out for it. Cancellation. Acha, if I'm a person who is taken voluntary registration and I want to take out of RC, very simple. I will intend to opt out of voluntary registration. Is that very clear? Perfect. Okay. Acha, there is a small amendment here. TDS deductor under section 51 or 52 and TCS under section 52 can now apply for cancellation of RC by making a request in written to proper officer. If the proper officer is the opinion that said person is no longer liable to deduct TDS or TCS, he may cancel the RC. Initially, this option was not available. Now this option has been made available. Okay. Initially, this option was not at all available. Now it is made available. ठीक? Correct. Next is, my dear friends, 29 subsection 2. Okay. So first is clearly what? Contravention of any act or rules by registered person. इसमें क्या है? सबसे पहला, does not conduct business from the declared place of business. So I have declared place of business Mumbai and bloody I am conducting business from Chennai. What the hell? Okay. Issues invoice without supply of goods or services. So basically issuing fake invoices. Third is, I have either violated rule 10A, that is furnishing bank details. 86B, which we will learn in payment of tax. 171 is anti-profiteering section, which we will learn in miscellaneous. And section 16 is basically the important section that needs to be taken into consideration while considering the conditions of ITC. ITC 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, 16.4, 16.2, 16.2A, B, double A, bar, C, D. All these are very important conditions. Yes. Okay. Great. And the last is where I have declared the outward supply in GSTR1. And that declaration in GSTR1 is much more than the outward supply declared in GSTR3B. What the heck? In one, I have showed 10 lakhs, and in 3B, I have showed 5 lakhs. Why? Just because I have to pay output tax only on those outward supplies which I have shown in 3B. Nonsense. When it will be tallied, notice will be sent to you. Understand? Don't try to manipulate government. No, 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 no. You can't do that anymore. Nahi tha, nahi tha, nahi tha. Are you getting it? Yes. Got it. Okay. Next is my difference. Okay. Which are the other reasons? So government says, okay, non-filing of returns. So if you are a compo taxpayer, now this is a matter of amendment, guys. This is an amendment here, out here. Okay. Now the amendment is beyond 3 months from the due date of furnishing return. Beyond 3 months from the due date of furnishing return. What do you mean by that? Very simple. So the due date of furnishing return is 30th April. Now, if you don't file your return on or before 30th July, then in that case, understand, your RC can be cancelled, right? So if you don't want your RC to be cancelled, file a return within 3 months of the due date. Otherwise, there is a good chance that your RC can be cancelled. Can be cancelled. Okay. Next, when it comes to normal taxpayer, my dear friends, if you are a monthly filer of tax return, then continue 6 months. If you are, but if you have opted for a QRMP scheme, then continuous two tax period, which also actually happens to be 6 months only. Okay, but it's just the way you say it. Next is if a registered person has willfully, fraudulently, okay, misstated facts, suppressed facts, then and due to that he has taken RC, then definitely, my dear friends, he will in that case cancel the RC. Okay. Also the fact that, my dear friends, okay, the registered person who has taken voluntary registration has not commenced business within 6 months from the date of registration. Has not commenced business within 6 months from the date of registration. Okay. So he's taken voluntary registration. He's not commenced business within 6 months. What the hell? What the hell I tell you? What the hell I tell you? Then definitely, my dear friends, in that case, government said that okay. Not an issue, not an issue, my dear friends. Your RC will be cancelled. Okay, very simple. Okay. Now, what is Rule 10? Very simple. So initially, what happened is, my dear friends, whenever what happens is that sometimes, okay, especially, what used to happen is, let's say, for example, uh, okay, let's say I want to register, okay, but I don't have my bank account. Why? Because let's say I've opted for voluntary registration, whatever the case may be, right? Then in that case, what government has basically told is, right, that understand, okay, that it's very important to note that a lot of people out here in India stay in rural area, right? So, in a lot of cases, they don't have a bank account. They actually collect cash. So what happens is that when they exceed 20 lakhs, right, they also have to furnish their bank details because understand, tomorrow if you also get a refund, you can get it in your bank account, right? So now the thing is that you have to furnish the bank details at the time of registration. Now a lot of times people hurry in taking registration and sometimes they don't have the bank account open. And a lot of these banks take a lot of time to open the bank account. In that case, government said that, okay, we will relax this limit and we will tell you that you can furnish your bank account within 45 days from the date of grant of RC or due date of furnishing return, whichever is earlier. Right. So, for example, understand if I was liable to register in April, my due date will be okay. Very simple. 20th May, that is अगले महीने की 20 तारीख, or for that matter 45 days from the date of grant of RC. Let's say I became liable on 1/4, I applied on 2/4, and my RC is granted on 7/4. So from 7/4, I will count 45 days and compare it to 20th May, whichever is earlier. Okay, that's it, my dear friends. Yes, okay. Now, suspension of RC. Okay, to understand, your RC can be suspended in three cases: one, two, and three. Okay. The first is when RP himself, when a registered person himself applies for RC, applies for cancellation under section 29 subsection 1. When the registered person himself, okay, applies for cancellation under section 29 subsection 1. Okay. In that case, what happens is that whenever he applies for cancellation, from that day itself, the suspension starts, right? And the suspension finally ends when the when the order of cancellation is passed. In that case, the suspension is revoked and cancellation, okay, replaces suspension. Okay, that's it. And second is, my dear friends, in case of proper officer, frankly, in case of proper officer, so whenever a proper officer cancels RC, or whenever, understand, okay, there are a lot of differences between, okay, the outward supply and inward supply that you have declared in GSTR 3B, that is section 39, and GSTR 1 and 2A 2B. Okay. So there are a lot of differences in this scenario. Then in that case, also government has the right that they will suspend your RC. Right. Here I have mentioned the date of submission of application, or from the date from which the registered person is sorting for cancellation, whichever is later. And here, obviously, in this case, whatever deems fit to whom, to the proper officer. Okay? Next, my dear friends, consequences. Now, what is consequences? Very simple. Very, very, very simple. Registered person cannot make taxable supplies or shall not file any returns under section 39 when RC is suspended. Okay? Understand. When RC is suspended, there are no taxable supplies that you can make. You cannot charge GST, you cannot issue tax invoice, and you cannot even file returns. You cannot even file returns. Correct? That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. Okay? Correct. So these are the things that you need to take care of. Okay? Next is, my dear friends, procedure of cancellation. So for example, if registered person cancels RC, in this case, okay, first check the event. What is the event? Okay. Whatever the event is triggered, let's say you have shut down the business. So within 30 days of you shutting down the business, you will apply for cancellation, right? And the day from where you have applied, okay, understand, within 30 days from that submission of application, your RC order will be passed. Your cancellation order for RC will be passed. ठीक है, ये पहला हो गया है, करेक्ट. दूसरा है when proper officer cancels RC. When proper officer cancels RC, right? In this case, understand. In this case, understand. When the proper officer issues SCN as why his RC shall not be cancelled, right? Proper officer issues show cause notice as why his RC shall not be cancelled. In that case, understand, you will have to reply within 7 days. If he finds your reply suitable, fair enough, he will drop the proceedings. If not, then he will finally cancel your RC within 30 days of your reply. ठीक है? Perfect. And the last, my dear friends, okay, that we are left with is section 30, revocation of cancellation order. Okay, revocation of cancellation order, read with rule 23. Okay, are you there, guys? Are you there with me? Avni Smith, Avni Smith, are you there with me, guys? Okay. Okay, my dear friends. Okay. We come to section 30, finally, revocation of cancellation order. Understand. First, let's focus on the procedure. So, understand your registration has been cancelled by proper officer, right? Now, you have 30 days within which you can apply for revocation. Is there extension? Yes. ACJC as an additional assistant commissioner, joint commissioner can extend it by 30 days, and commissioner can also exceed it by 30 days. So 30, 30, 30, 90 days maximum milega. If your application is satisfied, revocation order will be issued. If not, then it will not be rejected. First you will be issued a show cause notice. ठीक है. Second is within 7 working days. Okay. Okay. Within 7 working days. Okay. The registered person needs to reply. Okay. The registered person needs to reply. Okay. And as soon as he receives the reply, okay, within 30 working days of his reply, proper officer has to say either he is satisfied, either he is not satisfied, either he is satisfied, either he is not satisfied. So, he satisfied revocation application. I will say revocation application, revocation order is passed. And if he is not satisfied, then revocation order is not passed. Okay, is rejected, ऐसा लिख सकते हो rather, is rejected. ठीक है. That's it. अरे that's it. Okay, perfect. Next, my dear friends, prospective effect. Next, my dear friends, is prospective effect. Okay, when I say there is prospective effect and when I say that is retrospective effect, what do you mean by that? Okay, okay, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, guys? What? काय? कशाला? करते काय? Right? So that only means, my dear friends, understand. Section 30, revocation. Okay. Now, when I say case 1, prospective, right? Understand. In this case, what will happen? Understand. In this case, what will happen, guys? Tell me what will happen. Okay. So, if it is prospective, let's say, for example, from April to September. Okay. You have not filed returns for 6 months. Correct? So, now let's say, for example, on 110, cancellation order is passed. ठीक है? On 110 itself. And that is with effect from which date? 110 only. Okay, that I will tell as prospective effect. And the next is, my dear friends, Very, very, very simple. And the next is, my dear friends, very, very, very simple. Okay. What is that? Tell me. That within 30 days, let's say, for example, on 10/10, I have applied for revocation. ठीक? Within 30 days. That is within 30 days. ठीक? Now, okay. Let's say, okay, on 112. Sorry. Yes, okay. Let's say on 111, you applied for RC. Now you will get a revocation order. Now understand, why will you get revocation order? Because on the date of application, okay, for revocation, you had did one very important thing. You had filed returns. Which returns? Pending returns from April to September. Got it? So this is a major act that you actually did at this juncture. समझा? At the time of application for revocation, you also filed the pending returns. So what was bad, you made good to that, and after seeing that, government revoked your cancellation order. Okay, it revoked the cancellation order. Now understand, when it revoked the cancellation order, so your cancellation was from 110. Now you again are taking a rebirth from 110. Your RC is again now alive from 110. So government says, okay, you are supposed to now pay tax on all the supplies that you have done from 110 to 111, 110 to 111, and you are supposed to file returns for the same, okay, within 30 days, okay, from the date of order of revocation, right? From the date of order of revocation. So within 30 days, you will have to again file the return from date of cancellation to date of revocation. ठीक है? समझ? अरे समझ, right? That is from 110 to 111. Got it? Yes. So from April to September, you will file returns here. From 1st October to 1st November, you will file returns within 30 days from this day. Is that very clear? I will suggest you all to please write this diagram. Okay. All these notes are uploaded on the Google Drive. You can view it. So download it and write it down if you have not jotted down right now. Will be really helpful for you to get a perspective. Okay. And that is what I have written in the diagram. REV is revocation, just for your knowledge. Okay. Next is case 2, retrospective basis. Now, what do you mean by retrospective basis, my dear friends? What do you mean by retrospective basis? Very, very, very simple, my dear friends. Retrospective basis means this. Understand? Okay. Again, April to September. Okay. Simple. April to September again. ठीक है? You have not filed returns. Correct? Now, and again, 1st of October, cancellation order is passed. Then what happens? Tell me, 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 tell me. I will apply for revocation. But understand, on 110, when the order was cancellation order was passed, it was passed with effect from 1st of April. Retrospect, retro, retro, पीछे से, from behind, from here. Got it? So in the last case, it was with effect from 110, and here it is effect from 1/4. And when are you passing this order? 110, 110. Got it? Yes. To apply for revocation order. Apply for revocation order. ठीक. Again within 30 days. ठीक है? ठीक है? Now understand one thing. On 111, on 111, when revocation order is passed, you know what will happen? Understand. Understand, on 10/10, when you are applying for a revocation order, you will not be able to file returns from April to September. Why? Because the cancellation is from April. So your system will be disabled from April. So you cannot file. You cannot file. So now when the revocation order is passed, from there within 30 days, you will file returns from the date of effect, rather I will say effective date of cancellation, up to date of, are you getting it? That's it, my dear friends. Okay. So that is from 1/4 to 111. ठीक है? From 1/4 to 111, you will file for the entire period. You will file for the entire period. Is that very clear, my dear friends? That's it. That's the only difference. There you will file in parts, because your April to September period was not disabled, because your RC is only cancelled from October. So April to September period is enabled. Okay. So you will file returns for that. That will qualify you. Okay. That your RC is revoked. Got it? Okay. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. ठीक है, परफेक्ट। ठीक है बॉस, डन है, प्रॉपर है। Yes, yes, yes. Well, in registration threshold limit, yes, but in composition scheme, no. Okay, that's it, my dear friends. I feel this was the end of registration chapter. We have discussed it very thoroughly. We've discussed it very exhaustively with all the amendments included. Okay, I hope it made sense to you, and I hope this was certainly useful. MS Avni Smith. Again, a sincere request. Please, please like and comment. It means the world to me, right? It's important that you also understand that it's time that you also help Sir reach the moon by getting great numbers tomorrow when he is selling his course for the May 24 attempt. I hope, Avni, this was helpful. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Please share it and please spread the message that I've taken this initiative. So, in case someone is struggling, it can be really helpful. So, if you are in your WhatsApp groups, right, classes के WhatsApp groups, please make sure that you spread the message. It'll mean the world to me, guys. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Okay, and lots of love to ISRO. And there we are, India to the moon. We have landed Chandrayaan on the moon, guys. So now, from now onwards, you will not just aim to reach the moon, you will also reach there. You know, Kawate, you aim to reach the moon, but you will hit the stars. Now you will hit the moon because India has done that. Okay. Yes. Chalo guys, adios amigos, hasta la vista. Good night. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you.